I want to turn to Dr. Ashish Jha. He's the director of the Harvard Global Health Institute. We turn to you a lot, Dr. Jha, and I do want to ask about baseball in a moment. But let's start with this promising news about vaccines. A couple of companies moving into that final large-scale safety trial, phase 3 trials. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on. This is exciting. I mean, this is as someone I think in one of the reports said, this is the main event. We now get to find out whether the vaccines are effective, whether they work at preventing infections or preventing severe infections. And then we get to find out whether they're safe. And I am hopeful that one or two or maybe even more vaccines will clear that hurdle. But hope is not evidence. And what we need now is evidence and data. And if these studies are done well, we'll have that, I think, in the next 3 to 6 months.
I wanted to ask you about that because we're all kind of getting a crash course in how vaccines are made. And these phase 3 trials, you have, I think, 60,000 people who volunteer. You sign up. And then are they just kind of put into the population? I mean, you're just like some of them will be exposed and some won't. And then we'll see if it works, essentially.
Exactly. No, I know it sounds a little funny, but it's exactly right. That's why you need a large number of people. Some of them, half of them will get the vaccine, half of them will get some sort of a placebo. And then they'll go about their daily business and they'll be monitored on an ongoing basis. And we'll be looking for things like who's getting infected and are the people who got the vaccine less likely to get infected. And we'll be monitoring them for symptoms of any kind that might be related to the vaccine to look for safety. And if you have a large enough population, and if you're in an area where there's enough of an outbreak, and large parts of America are hotspots, and if you monitor people closely, again, as I said, at some point down the lane in the fall, late fall, we'll probably have accumulated enough evidence that we'll feel comfortable saying whether the vaccine works or not, and whether it's reasonably safe or not.
Real quickly on this, because I do want to get to baseball, but there's a difference, obviously, between finding a vaccine and getting people vaccinated.
Yeah. No, we often say vaccines don't save lives. Vaccinations save lives, right? It's about when the vaccine goes into the arm that actually that's where the life-saving benefits really begin. We have to have an entire plan for our nation. We have to make sure there are no financial barriers for individuals. We want to make sure that the most vulnerable people are treated first or get the vaccine first. There's a lot of work to do, and I'm hopeful that we can come up with a plan, but I'm a little worried. We've had problems with supply chain and distributions with testing. I'm hoping that won't show up with the vaccines.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and hopefully more than just fingers crossed. Let's talk about baseball. Here you have the Miami Marlins, half the team testing positive for the virus, including some players and some members of staff. What does this portend for the baseball season? I mean, what does this show to you?
What it shows to me is the difficulty of trying to run sports or trying to run really any business in the middle of a large outbreak. And as you know, about half of our country is consumed with really pretty large outbreaks. And it's going to be very, very hard to protect people and get back to business. So I'm hopeful that if Major League Baseball really is aggressive, they may be able to kind of keep going. But I have to tell you, given that this is 5 days into the season, I'm worried that they're not going to be able to have their modified season the way they have planned. It's going to be very, very difficult to pull off.
It's a worrisome development for sure, Dr. Jha. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.